So our 7-match unbeaten Premier League run ended last night, although it wasn't the opposition that beat us. This is the Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Arsenal match review. Hello, my name is Richard. Welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, the Positive Arsenal channel. In this video, I'm going to look back on last night's game here at Molineux against Wolves. Of course, very controversial game that turned out to be. Just before I do that, I want to make sure you are subscribing to my channel. If you've been here before, you haven't got around to doing it yet, or if you're new here and you do like the content that I do, please click on the subscribe button down in the corner there. Please give this video a like as well and share the content around. If you've got any comments at all to make about the game last night, all the controversy that happened, or anything else to do with Arsenal, please drop me in the comments box below, as I do love to hear from you guys as well. In terms of the team museum, we only made one change from the side that drew 0-0 with Manchester United at the weekend. That was Bukayo Saka coming in for Gabriel Martinelli. So it was exactly the same 11 that started the game away at Southampton last week. So it was Bernd Leno in goal. Back four was Hector Bellerin, David Luiz, Rob Holding and Cedric Soares again at left back, of course, without Kieran Tierney. The two in midfield again were Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey, building up a good relationship there. The three just in front, so it was Smith Rowe in the number 10 position, Bukayo Saka was on the right, Pepe moved across to the left, and it was Alexander Lacazette again through the centre. The good news on the bench was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was back, and so was Dani Ceballos as well. So we had a few options on the bench for this game, but that was the Arsenal starting 11. In terms of Wolves, then they changed system actually. They played 3 at the back at the weekend when they lost to Crystal Palace. They went to a 4 at the back this time, and they've made just 2 changes to the starting lineup. So as expected, Adama Traore was on the right hand side, and in midfield, Neves returned to the side as well. So they were your teams for this game. I mean, with everything else that went on, I guess it's going to be easy to forget the great performance that Arsenal put in the first half of this match. Probably the best 45 minutes that we've put together under Mikel Arteta. From the very first minute, of course, when we nearly scored with a shot from Bukayo Saka, which came back off the post. We just dominated that first half. It was really impressive the way we were pressing, our passing, our movement was just fantastic. And realistically, we could easily have been 3 or 4 goals up. Apart from hitting the post in the early stages, Nicolas Pepe also hit the bar, and then we had a goal disallowed that Bukayo Saka scored, a very, very tight offside decision given against Alexander Lacazette by VAR. Yes, I suppose technically it was right, it was very, very close, but he was offside. And then of course we got the goal, a fantastic goal it was from Nicolas Pepe as well, continuing his great form. He did really well, didn't he, down that left hand side. He was maybe a little bit fortunate to get past the first challenge for Semedo. He done a nice little nutmeg on Neves, didn't he, before curling the right foot shot into the far corner, so he can use his right foot as well. Absolutely fantastic goal it was, and again, certainly in that first half, it was another impressive performance from him. But from being in a position of total control, the game was then snatched away from us, and it wasn't because Wolves played better or Wolves deserved to get something from the game. It was literally just one decision that turned everything. In the final seconds of the first half, in fact, it was over the 3 minutes of stoppage time that had been announced. Of course, Wolves got an attack through the middle of our defence. Maybe we just slightly switched off, expecting the half-time whistle to go perhaps, and suddenly their new striker, William Jose, was through on goal. David Luiz was just literally running back to try to cover, and it was actually the only contact made was by William Jose's heel on David Luiz's knee, and of course he went down. Now you can almost forgive referee Craig Paulson initially for giving the penalty and producing a red card. Maybe at first glance you could think that was what had happened, that David Luiz had fouled him, and that was the right decision. But luckily we've got VAR now, and it was obvious when you saw a replay of it that it wasn't a foul by David Luiz at all. It shouldn't even have been a penalty, let alone a red card, and obviously VAR was going to sort that out and change the decision. But without even looking at the screen, Craig Paulson just went along with the VAR decision to stick with his original choice of a penalty and a red card. Now, and that to me, there's something not right about that decision. The only contact made was by the Wolves player on David Luiz, and any contact at all was accidental. It's not a foul. It wouldn't be a free kick in any other part of the pitch. It's not a penalty, and it certainly isn't a red card. But that one decision by the referee and by his mate Jonathan Moss in VAR changed the whole course of this game. Of course, Ruben Neves scored the penalty, and then in the second half with 10 men, it was always going to be a struggle for us. Yes, it was a great goal from João Moutinho. Let's not beat around the bush about that. It was a fantastic goal, brilliant strike from 30 yards into the corner. Gave Leno no chance. It went in off the inside of the post. Couldn't have placed it any better. It was a great goal and probably a goal worthy of winning any game. But unfortunately, this game isn't going to be remembered for that. Of course, later on in the game, Bernd Leno got himself sent off as well. Coming out of the box to try and clear the ball, he misjudged the bounce of it, moved his body to try to clear the ball, maybe with his chest. It did strike the upper part of his arm. And you could say that's a red card, although, again, the rules are very, very strange, where an outfield player can do exactly the same as that on the edge of the penalty area, and it would only be a yellow card, and the goalkeeper does it and it's a red card. Seems a strange rule, but I didn't really have too many complaints about that particular decision, and by that stage of the game didn't really matter too much. The only problem is now, of course, the suspensions that we've got to come. Of course, with our second choice goalkeeper Matt Ryan currently injured, it did give Renarsson a chance to come on, and actually he did quite well in the final 20 minutes, made a couple of good saves, and that would have done his confidence a lot of good. Of course, his last appearance was that disastrous game against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup just before Christmas. So in the end, we could almost have snatched a point, couldn't we? Very last minute of the game, we did get a break. Bellerin done well down the right-hand side. Aubameyang, who had come on at this stage, had replaced Nicolas Pepe. His shot was blocked, and Bukayo Saka's follow-up was blocked as well. But it would have been fantastic, wouldn't it, to have salvaged the draw from this game. But really, the whole game was ruined, wasn't it, just on that one decision before half-time. And I'll never ever understand how VAR came to that conclusion. The whole point of having VAR was to stop these decisions from being wrong and to make sure that the right decisions are made. According to the letter of the law, you could try to spin it that it was the right decision, because the law does state that if you genuinely attempt to get the ball and you just mistime it, it's a penalty and a yellow card. Whereas if you make no attempt to play the ball and deny the goal scoring opportunity, then it's a red card. But surely common sense has got to be used. It wasn't even an attempt to do anything. He was just running back. And I say the Wolves player's leg caught David Luiz's knee. That knocked him off balance, and then he fell over. And that's all it is. And the ball ran through to Bernd Leno. It should have just been play on, if we're honest. But I could almost accept the penalty as a penalty. You could almost say, well, okay, you could understand why they may give a penalty. But there's no way that's a red card. And of course, that proved to be the big decision in this game. So unfortunately, we're not going to spend a lot of time, are we, talking about the great performance that Arsenal put in that first half. It's all going to be about the controversy and the dreadful decision by Craig Paulson and Jonathan Moss, who need to be held to task over this. Man of the match, and again, it's difficult to really pick one. The first half, as I say, Arsenal were magnificent. All 11 players who started this game were fantastic in that first half for Arsenal. Brilliant performances everywhere. I would give every single player a 10 out of 10 for that performance. It was just outstanding. Of course, the second half was a lot more difficult. I thought we dug in. We did what we could do in the circumstances. Of course, in the end, playing with 9 men, 2-1 down away from home, you're never going to be able to get anything from the game, are you? So it's difficult to pick a man of the match. Of course, for me, though, there's only one man on this pitch who changed the destiny of this game, and that has to go to Craig Paulson. So the man of the match in this game has to go to the referee, Craig Paulson. So yeah, very disappointing in the end, isn't it? So, how we managed to lose this game, I'm not really sure. From such a position of strength, as we were coming towards half time, it was a matter of thinking, wow, what a great performance this is. And the only regret was that we hadn't scored more goals that we deserved. And we've ended up losing the game, of course, from no real fault of our own. And let's just hope that doesn't knock our confidence and knock us out of our stride, because we've had a good run. So 7 games unbeaten before this in the Premier League. We need to bounce back straight away, don't we? It's another tough game at the weekend, of course, away at Aston Villa. That's going to be tough as well, isn't it? And we have got some suspensions to deal with as well. Gabriel, of course, can come into defence in place of David Luiz, as he did in the second half of this game. Wouldn't have any problems with him playing there at all. The goalkeeping situation could be a problem if Matt Ryan isn't fit. Is Renarson ready for a full 90 minutes? Of course, it will bring the whole situation to a head, won't it? Because we're playing against Aston Villa with Martinez, of course, who's been doing so well in goal for them. But anyway, we can't do anything about that now. Definitely Leno will be suspended. I know there's talk of the club appealing David Luiz's red card. I honestly can't see it. I can't see the point of appealing it, if I'm totally honest. VAR watched it and still came up with the same decision, and they will do the same if there's an appeal. It could just lead to a longer suspension. I think we're just going to have to accept the corruption that's gone on and move on. So yeah, it's another tough game. It's important that we bounce back, actually. What we can't afford to do is lose again. We've just built up some momentum and we need to take the positives from that first half. And if we put in a performance similar to that on Saturday, I'm sure we can get the right result, and then we can move on and put this game completely behind us. So that's that there then. I look back on last night's rather controversial defeat here at Molineux against Wolves. Coming up on the channel, I'll be looking ahead to the Aston Villa game, of course. Tomorrow I'll be doing a preview video looking ahead to that game, and then on Friday evening I will do my live show. I'm still hoping to get an Aston Villa fan on. We can go through all the usual stuff, memories of past matches, and of course players that's played for both clubs. There's some big names on that list, isn't there? So that'll be really interesting as well. So that'll be going out on Friday. And then of course on Saturday afternoon I'll be doing a watch along of the Aston Villa game. It's a 12:30 kickoff, so I'll probably go live about 12:15 for the watch along of that one. And then on Sunday I'll be doing my review video as well, before again moving into another busy week, because we're playing Leeds, aren't we, midweek next week. So I'll be looking ahead to that game as well. So loads coming up on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please click on the subscribe button down in the corner there. Please give this video a like as well. Share the content around. Drop me comments in the box as well. Thanks for your support of the channel. Thanks for watching. And in the meantime, as we move towards another big game at the weekend, come on you Gunners!